Focus on my brake lights. Ain't turning back. Now that I'm back on track, yeah. Take my word from it. Put a couple bands on it. And I don't plan on letting people turn me. No. You can say what you want. I'ma keep pressing on. I can't go pop that thing like I'm feeling green, right? Talking to my past like focus on my brake lights.
Hello everyone, welcome to Breaking the Silence. It is a pleasure to be here with you all, and today is going to be interesting,
Very
interesting
very
episode. So we want you to stay tuned. My name is Nori, yours truly, and this is my wonderful co-host,
Francisca
and
Angelique.
all right, and we're gonna be here with you for this hour, but I already want to get into the question of the day for you. So the question for the day is, most disappointing thing you've ever spent money on. OMG.
Do we have time?
I have a list, I know.
just really quick, 2 seconds, go.
I don't know.
I don't know many Amazon orders that I've
Yeah.
ordered
Oh my
and I come back, I'm like, what is this?
No, wait.
Go ahead, Angie, you got 3 seconds. 3,
I don't know.
2, 1. She doesn't know, y'all. Let me tell you, one time I spent money on this dress. It looked so good. The reviews were good, but when I got it, it looked like a nightgown. And when I tried to return it, they gave me all this runaround. But listen, we want to hear from you guys. What was the most disappointing thing you bought? You regret buying it. So let us know what was your most disappointing experience. There goes our QR code where you can go and leave your comment. And yes, we are going to be exploring our world. So stay tuned for that. And we also have a great guest. His name is Brian Galke. So listen, sit tight, sit back, don't go anywhere. Tell someone to tune into the Breaking the Silence right now because it is going to be off the hook. But we're going to cut to a short break and we'll be right back.
Hear from strong women who are crushing their goals, overcoming challenges, and living their best lives. You won't want to miss a single empowering minute. Stay tuned and join the movement.
The challenges our planet's animals are facing sometimes feel a bit heavy.
The animals haven't eaten in a day, 2 days, they haven't drank anything, they're cold, they're dehydrated.
But remember, there's good happening right now. At home.
All right, we were able to get into your unit and we have all 4 of your cats. So,
Okay. And around the world for any animal, any disaster. Search ifa.org/disaster ready.
Depressed and unable to sleep? Battling with suicidal thoughts? Trying to find a way out? See none? You do your best, but it feels like your best isn't good enough. It's the same struggle day after day. Will this cycle never end? At the Universal Church, we have a 24/7 helpline with pastors on standby willing to assist you. No matter the situation or problem, there is a solution. We're here for you. Call this number, 1-888-332-4141. It's a safe number to call, and we're ready to counsel and pray for your way out.
Hey, honey. We thought we'd try something new.
Family art hour. What do you think?
You got jokes. You're funny.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
You are watching Breaking the Silence.
So today we are going to be exploring our world, ladies. Where? OMG.
Come with us.
Cabo Verde or Cape Verde,
Yes.
as many people say. And listen, traveling is great. You get to see different cultures, different people, experience different foods, and so many great things. So you know what? Guys, let us start diving in
But I just want
to the great things in Cape Verde.
Yes. But one thing I just want to talk about real quick is everything that we tell, the advice that we give, the places that we tell y'all to visit, these are all places that are safe for women to travel if you want to go by yourself or if you want to go with a group of women, because unfortunately not all of these places are safe to travel alone. So please keep that in mind, that we have done our research and these places are safe for women to travel alone.
And I'm so glad that you started off with safe, because safety first for everything, especially nowadays. You know, we're, when you turn on the news, you always hear about crazy things, people going on trips, but no, Cape Verde is definitely, and the people in Cape Verde, they're very friendly, they're very, you know, welcoming, they have that good hospitality. And speaking about, you know, the people and the culture and everything, there's great things. Look at that. That is so beautiful and amazing.
Dive right into.
So you just want to even stay there, not only vacation, but stay there.
I gotta go on a break real quick.
But you know what? Before traveling, it's always good. Look at that scenery. Before traveling, it's always good to educate yourself on where you're going. You can't just pick up and say, okay, you know what? Hey, I want to go to Cape Verde, but you don't speak Portuguese.
Right?
You don't know how to say the basics. Learn a few basic phrases in Portuguese, like bom dia. Bom dia means good morning. Boa tarde, that means good afternoon. Boa noite, that means good evening. Simple things like that will help you navigate when you're traveling. So yes, learn the language, learn the basics at least. Learn the basics, learn, you know,
even the weather.
But it also shows the people that live there that you care enough to learn their language.
There you go.
And that you don't just come there and then be like, oh, you need to know my language and why don't you understand me? Like,
and that speaks volume.
Take time to get to know their traditions, get to know their way of being, because not everywhere is the same. And we have to respect the way things are done in every country.
That speaks volumes, because if I was from another country and you came to my country speaking English, I'm gonna be like, excuse me, you're on my territory, so you need to speak you want help, you want to communicate, you need to speak the language,
and unfortunately, I mean, here in America, we're the same way. Like, you don't speak English, so we also need to do the same thing when we go into other countries, right?
You know,
and also packing light, especially for Cape Verde. Cape Verde is warm all year round, so you always want to prepare yourself. Depending on where you're gonna go, if you're gonna go to like church, or if you're gonna go to, I don't know, different places, you know, make sure you do your homework. That way you're always dressed properly.
Yeah, because like a lot of people, they go to these places, they go to resorts.
Yeah.
But it's when you step out of the resorts to get the real feel of where you're going that you need to be mindful. Yeah. Because like even in Dubai, there's rules that you have to follow, and the way that you dress and the way that you are. And if you're not, like you even mentioned Singapore, you can't chew gum. These are all like really important things that we need to make sure that we educate ourselves on. But something else that is simple as drinking water. You need to make sure that you bring a reusable water bottle or to purchase, because there's stuff inside the water that our bodies are not used to, and that can get us really sick. And we're on a whole trip that we saved a whole year for.
Imagine going to a place like this and you're sick the whole time.
Oh, I'd be so mad at myself. Upset. I'd be like, I'm still going. Just give me the trash can. I'm going.
Let me grab some bags with me.
Yeah, but actually, there's a lot more of things to do here in Cape Verde. But again, educate yourself. Make sure that you know not the ins and outs, because you're not basically living there, but there are actually things to do, and we're gonna enumerate some of them. Of course, the beach. First, the beach, as you've seen, there's like it's surrounded by water. So relaxing on the beach. We also have surfing, whale watching.
I would definitely not surf.
I'll try surfing. I want to try it.
No, I'm not going to be shark bait. I'm so sorry. I will not, because my imagination goes, and I'm already imagining there's a shark underneath that water just waiting for me to fall, because I will fall. It's given. Just saying. And I will fall in the mouth of a shark, and then my life will be over.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
I think I would just, go as far as my feet, wet my feet, and jump back out.
Maybe I'll take that risk.
Also, whale watching.
This one
that was
is
definitely beautiful.
Look at that. Just look at that. It's just so calm and
beautiful.
Peaceful.
Imagine to experience that in person. A lot. We just watch these things on TV, but to actually experience it, man, that is amazing.
Unbelievable. I actually got to enjoy it doing whale watching tour.
And there's another thing that you can do as well, that others can do as well, because I definitely won't do it. It has to do with volcanoes, high volcanic craters. Listen, I'm sorry, that's a no-no for me. There's some people that would though.
I would probably do
that. Me and Nori can be on the beach with our drinks in hand, and you can be over there with the shark and the volcano.
I'd be the one taking pictures for you guys.
I mean,
seeing all the scenery.
I think maybe if that thing erupt you while you climbing up it.
Imagine. Maybe in my younger years, I would.
You see?
Yeah.
You see? I gotta talk to our guest about that. Be like, how do I stop overthinking? Oh my gosh.
There's another one. I believe it is after visiting volcanic craters, exploring charming towns. And this is nice. Here you can be able to learn about different towns and buy your little souvenirs. That way you can cherish. The same way you are visiting these charming towns, you can be able to cherish each and every moment. You can cherish each and every place and also educate yourself on it as well. So that is definitely some of the things you can do when you go to this beautiful country, Cabo Verde or Cape Verde. So yes, get ready, ladies. Start making y'all plans. Start looking at the flight tickets and stuff. You're already there?
I'm already there, guys. I'm already there.
Let me tell you, this
her body's here, but her mind is already. Yes, I'm already on the beach, kicked up, enjoying the sun. Oh my goodness.
So you can start making your plans, because this is definitely one of the nicest places that you can be able to visit. But we're gonna cut on a short break, ladies, and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
special guest.
Yes, 100%. Get ready.
Goodness.
Get a pen and paper, y'all. Y'all gonna want to take notes.
So good.
Okay, because yes, there he goes. Brian Galke, we are definitely going to be speaking to him, and listen, he has great things to share, ladies. So listen, ladies and gentlemen. So pull out a pen, pull out a notepad, because what you're gonna hear is mind-blowing and it's definitely gonna help you as well. So we'll be back right after this break.
Real women, real talk. Breaking the silence is where stories become connections. Let's break the silence together.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was like a whole range of emotions, joy, sadness. There's gonna be obstacles. You're gonna feel like, why is it happening to me? And you're gonna realize you're not the only one. There's no perfect way. Your own way will be the perfect way. You're gonna protect it with all your might. Just seeing him happy, it's just joy, you know? I look through his eyes, I can envision like a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. Oh man, he can smile now. I'm happy because he's advancing in life, you know, he's growing. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. My life is now devoted to his life.
Welcome to LFN. From daily news, powerful prayers, to podcasts, faith-based shows, and cartoons for the kids, faith, family, 24/7. Find us on Verizon Fios Channel 792, Frontier Channel 726, DirecTV Channel 42, New York, Dish Channel 39, New York. Feeding your soul, lifting your spirit.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job. for the team,
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
That we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Explore the road to success with inspiring guests, motivational tips to change your life for the better, and entrepreneurs advertising their business. Now, today's guest.
So we are back here on Breaking the Silence, and we do have our special guest for today, Brian Galke, founder of Subtle Skills. And Brian, I already have so many questions for you. I know we are all very excited. We have so many things to ask you. And by the way, just hint, just to put it out there, for those of you watching us right now, you can feel free to send in your comments. You can feel free to send in any questions that you may have. So, Brian, are you ready for us? Because we definitely have so many questions for you. Welcome to Breaking the Silence.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Let's go.
All right. So hint, I did wear a vest for a specific reason, and I did roll up my sleeve. They might not understand, but
I don't understand that, but I did shape my eyebrows just right so that there would be no confusion.
Yeah, we're going to ask it to decode
And I did roll up my sleeve for a specific reason, but we're going to get started with you. How did Subtle Skills come about? Because I was reading, you're kind of like an introvert, extrovert, but I don't see anything introvert about what I've seen on your Instagram pages. So tell me how, Subtle Skills came about.
Fluke circumstance. I was an introvert by nature, so I would always pick up books on how to understand other people better, body language books, statement analysis books, how to win friends and influence people. And so I was good at reading body language, but when I was out in public, that only gets you so far. And through fluke circumstance in 2010, I had a friend come in from out of town. She said, let's go to dinner. I show up at the restaurant. She called and said, I'm not going to make it. And I thought, oh, here we go. She's like, no, you need to come over to this event and meet one of the speakers. I'm like, why do I need to come meet this guy? And she goes, he reads faces. And I said, well, I'm not coming over there for that. This is a bunch of... And she said, no, come on. I'm in from out of town. Please come over. And I was being stubborn. But when I finally went, I went with the intention of proving that this guy was a fraud. Because if I've read all these books trying to understand people and I've never heard of decoding facial features, it can't be real. So I went over there to prove that this guy was full of it. And instead, he won me over instantly with just how nice and friendly he was. But more importantly, he sat us all down at dinner. He looked at everybody at the table. And he analyzed and read our faces, and I was instantly curious. I was like, ooh, this is true. And I was looking for what they call Barnum statements, which is where you say something so generic that it applies to everyone, like, oh, you've had a hard time in life. And all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, this is the first proactive skill where you can try and understand people before they speak. And it would just change my life. So I picked up his book. Here's a copy of the book I have from 2010. So see here, it's got a new title now when you see it, but that's my name tag and everything on it from the courses. And then I bought that, and I would drive from Dallas to Fort Worth twice a month to go study with him one-on-one. And then he later came out with flashcards, which I bought. And I still wasn't sure about this skill, but I would take the book with me on work trips and I would lay it out. And while I was eating dinner, somebody, natural curiosity would kick in and go, well, what is this? And I thought, well, I took this course, but I kind of think this guy's full of it. Can I ask you questions? And we would look up in the book what the different facial features meant. And the accuracy level was astounding. And so I used it to go from being an introvert on the help desk to a regional vice president of sales with a $40 million book of business. Because what I learned is introverts, we spend all of our time in here, the prison of our own mind. But when you actually learn to focus on other people, you're making it about the connection and not about you. And that's what completely changed my life.
That is amazing, amazing.
I love it.
I was reading and I was looking at your videos on Instagram and everything, and I said, oh my gosh, he wouldn't be the type of person that I would want to speak to, because in my mind it's like he is just reading me all over. He's looking at my eyebrows and just thinking something, or my hand gestures, for example, maybe it's giving off like maybe I feel insecure or whatever. So I want really quick, if you can just look at Angelique and Francisca. They're going to put the cameras on them, and can you kind of just through their facial I guess features or expression, can you read them?
I'm gonna try to
Sure.
put up.
I'm
I'm gonna try to put up a poker
let me
face.
fix my face.
Yeah, me too.
Hold on.
Let's see if it's genuine or a poker face.
The good news is that's not an uncommon question. And I actually, in my presentations and in my keynotes, I'll put a picture of me at 18 versus 38, because I want everybody to look at me so then they don't feel like, oh, he's going to analyze me later.
Right.
So I actually add that in to build that comfort value with people. But the really crazy thing is, it's like reading a body language book. You don't automatically start staring at everybody's body language, but it's a tool that you can utilize when you want. So I get a little bit ADD-ish at times. And if I start to lose the conversation, I pick another facial feature to look at. Why? Because it's keeping my attention on you instead of being distracted. And so there are things that you can learn just by looking at people. So I've not seen you guys before, and she kind of threw you guys under the bus, which is always fun, right? That's a good feeling.
We appreciate it, for sure.
Yeah. So I'll pick different features on each person. So, okay, sorry, I'm making my screen larger so I can see you guys here.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's just because that you were this big on my screen, so I had to make it a little bit larger and move you up to a different one. All right, so I'm going to go with the person on the right first, right? And so, yes,
Francisca.
exactly. Yeah, Francisco. Thank you. The name tags one way. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what we're going to talk about is your cheeks, because that's one of the things that we can obviously see from here. Now,
And they're
what
always
you
red.
have is what's known as healer cheeks, and that is the widest part of your cheeks are rounded out here. And so those are cheeks that indicate that you're going to help take care of other people. And when I say indicate, you're like, well, how do people know that? Every book you ever read as a kid, every fairy tale, everything you ever did, we've been trained our entire life how to understand people based on their facial features. So those cheeks are called healer cheeks. If you look at Mrs. Claus, Mother Goose, all the characters that we built to take care of us have fine, wide, rounded cheeks over here. So I know, like, if I have problems, I want to come talk to people, you're going to be one of the first people I'm going to look for. Other things I can see is your eyebrows are close to your eyes, so you make decisions fast. But you also have a little bit of this brow ridge right here. So you're a process-driven person. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So I can't jump from beginning to end when I'm talking to you. So let's say I'm selling you something. Let's just say a house. Everybody's bought a house or rented an apartment or you name it. So when I'm talking to you, I'm going to let you know what every step of the process is going to be. I'm not just going to be like, hey, you're going to sign me up and we're going to get you a house. I'm going to let you know what all's involved so that that'll help answer your questions ahead of time. I know that I don't have to give a very long spiel when I'm talking to you, because eyebrows are like speed bumps on someone's head. So if they're higher eyebrows, that's like a speed bump up here. And if data's trying to race to get into your eye, it can only go so fast, go over the speed bump, and then try and speed back up. But if somebody's eyebrows are closer to their eye, then that data can race down their forehead and only has to slow down at the end. So when you're looking at people, you go, okay, are their eyebrows high? Give them more time. If their eyebrows are low, get there quicker. So for you, I'm going to get there quicker. And I'm going to talk about every step in the process. Now, and then, granted, the picture's not that big, but I can also see strong jaw right here, which means a bit stubborn. Once you make in your mind, you can latch on to things.
He's right about that.
Immovable. So those are just a few things that I can see from here. So now we'll go over to the left.
To Angelina.
And so we're going to make you do some funny faces because you have glasses on, so it hides part of the head. But here's the funny part. Glasses hide things, but they don't. So if I were to ask people what shape are your eyebrows, they're the same as your glasses. They're rounded. So rounded eyebrows are people who think about the people around them first and themselves second. So if I was selling you a house, I would say things like, what are the spare bedrooms for? Are you planning to entertain? Because you think about other people first and yourself second. So when you look at someone, and I know it sounds crazy because everybody goes, well, I just went to the salon and had these done. Right. Well, our eyebrows change over time. So if you saw the picture of me at 18, my eyebrows are straight. I used to get straight to the point. When I became a corporate trainer, my eyebrows went angled because angled eyebrow people need to know what's their angle, help them understand it first, then they can help other people. But someone like yourself, where they're more rounded, I need to talk about how everyone else benefits first and then you second. So we've all been on an airplane and we hear them come on and say, in the event of an emergency, please put on your own mask first before helping others. That's for people like you, because you'd be running around trying to help everybody else and then you just fall down the aisle.
Oh, so I have to straighten my eyebrow. I need to put my mask first.
Yeah. So it's just learning to present information differently to different people. But the other thing that I can see now from this angle is rounded forehead or outside the box thinkers. So if I tell you it has to be done this way because this is how everybody else does it, you don't like hearing that, because rounded forehead people are outside the box thinkers. They want to hear, how does everybody else do it? And then they want to put their own unique spin or bow on it.
Interesting. I have another question for you.
Very interesting.
Has anyone tried avoiding you? Like overall avoiding you because they're just so worried that all you're going to do is just read them the entire time?
Sure. So a few of the questions are, it's not about judgment, it's about understanding. There are very few bad features. Now, if there's a combination of what you've seen on every villain, every devil, every witch you've ever seen, angled eyebrow, downturned nose, pointed chin, we're taught who to stay away from over time. But any one of those individual features, completely fine. I have angled eyebrows. Somebody may have a downturned nose. Somebody may have a pointy chin. It's the combination of things that I go, ooh, maybe I'd stay away from that person. Now, the reason that the company's named Subtle Skills, you don't have to tell anybody that you learned to do this. You don't walk into a room and go, I just read a body language book, and then stare at everyone. Right? So it's the same thing. I can turn it on or off anytime I want, but that's why I actually put the picture of me in the presentations, because I want people to know it's okay to look at people. And it's not about judgment. It's about learning, what do we have in common? Where do we have differences? And where do we meet in the middle? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that whether you let it be known that you have this in your pocket and you can pull it out at any time, but I think just as humans, we're always reading body language of other people, because people will speak one thing, but their body language is saying something else. And so we're always reading and trying to interpret other people to really understand like what it is that they are really saying to us. But you know that there's some of those people that like when you look at their face, they are just like, don't talk to me. I don't want to have anything to do with your conversation. So obvious, right? I mean, they have a saying for what that face looks like. I think we could all fill in the blanks, right? But like, how do you speak to that person? How do you get that person to like open up, because when you see that face, you're just like, I don't even want to talk to that person. Like,
they don't seem approachable.
Give me 50 feet from that person. But like, how do you get them to open up? How do you get them to speak?
There's a combination of ways. So I'm going to give you a recent book that I just finished. So this one was one called The Like Switch. This was written by an FBI agent who was in the behavioral analysis unit at the FBI. And what they taught is, if you want to make people feel comfortable, when you walk into a room, there's two things we can do with our eyebrows. If we raise them, we're seen as a friend. If we squint, we're seen as a foe. So if you walk into a room, the book actually teaches agents, raise your eyebrows up, tilt your head, and smile. That's how we build rapport with people.
Interesting. It's like a template.
It is. Literally, you walk in. So if like, I'll do it for fun. If I walk in, I go, that doesn't seem very friendly. But if I walk in, I go, and don't look like a dork, like don't overdo it. And the whole thing is, we do that subconsciously. And it goes back to when a stranger entered our community, our tribe, our camp, whatever you want to call it. The first thing we looked at was intent in the eyes. And so we looked, was it a furrowed brow? Oh crap, that's a foe. Was it a raised eyebrow? Hey, how are you doing? And then after that, we'd go look at people's hands. And that's why open hand gestures are seen as friendly. Closed hand are seen as negative. Or hidden hands, what do they have that can hurt me? So there's different ways that we pay attention. You brought up a great fact earlier. Studies have shown only 7% of what we say is the words we actually use. The rest is body language and tonality. And so we subconsciously are looking for those things. And that's why we're not always listening to what people say. That's why it's called active listening, because you have to actively listen to someone. But by nature, our survival was based on what's their body language say and what's the tone of their words say.
Interesting. Brian, we have so much more questions for you. So please, those of you watching, stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to cut into a short break and we will be back with Brian Galke.
Empowered women, empowering conversations. Stay with us on Breaking the Silence as we inspire and uplift each other.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Do you know what it means to have the Spirit of the Most High God living inside of you? And did you know that this Spirit is not given by measure, but is poured out in abundance upon those who believe? Just as it happened to the Lord Jesus when He came into this world. This is so wonderful that we can't just limit ourselves to do His work in a mediocre manner. This is just a glimpse of the revelations that are shared in this book with servants of the Most High. The message is an urgent call for today's church to reclaim God's principles, among which are sincerity and care for the altar. Each chapter is a warning for men and women not to become spiritually lost by disregarding God's call. Those who recognize the privilege and responsibility of serving the Almighty will certainly hear God's call and strengthen their faith. I challenge you to read this book and find the strength in God that you need to rise up and start over in your spiritual life. And if you are well, you'll grow even more in your journey of faith. You can receive this book with a gift offering of $35. Call 1-888-691-2291 and we'll mail a copy to you. You'll never be the same again after reading this book.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
What are you going to wish for, Grandpa?
Don't just wish you had taken care of your hearing loss. Take action today. Visit actnow.onhearing.com to learn the signs and find an ASHA-certified audiologist near you.
Explore the road to success with inspiring guests, motivational tips to change your life for the better, and entrepreneurs advertising their business. Now, today's guest.
So we are back here on Breaking the Silence with Brian Galke, and man, the questions are they just keep coming and coming and coming. Brian, thank you so much again for being with us. Now, I have another question. I was watching one of your videos and you were speaking about a gentleman called Renee, I believe his name was, and he was speaking about emotional intelligence. Can you educate us a little bit on that?
Sure. So emotional, it's Renee Rodriguez. I think his website is Learn with Renee, and he is phenomenal. He is body language. I've actually taken his course. He does a fantastic 2.5-day course called Amplify, where it's Ampla and then FII. Renee Rodriguez, amazing individual. And emotional intelligence is, are you paying attention to what's going on with others? And so a big problem, and I like to use this analogy, when I was a younger person traveling, and I went to other countries, I thought, oh, well, they should speak English. And if they don't, I'll just speak English louder. Like that somehow is going to help. That's not having emotional intelligence about what's going on with the other person. So once I learned basic phrases, please, thank you, good morning, good afternoon, I was showing them that I respect them. And then I was asking for help at the same time. So little things like that, emotional intelligence is, what's going on with people? What's happening in the situation? What's the context? You know, we always hear these accolades and awards for being a sales sniper and being so laser focused. But if you're so laser focused that you're a robot repeating things instead of paying attention to what's going on, you don't have emotional intelligence, or another word for that would be situational awareness. So let's say, for example, that you guys are looking at the camera right now. If I'm talking, you guys all whipped out your phones and just start talking, yep, okay, and I didn't do something to try and get your attention back, then I'm not paying attention to the situation. Or a great book right here, Chris Voss says, Never Split the Difference. Are you paying attention to the emotions that people are going through? Is someone frustrated? Is somebody living in fear? So it's paying attention to what's going on overall to understand the situation. And there's nothing wrong with having a sales script or, rehearsing what you want to ask for. Say you're asking for a raise or you're trying to convince a significant other that you want to go to this restaurant versus that one. Preparation is great. But preparation is just so you don't stumble in the moment, but you need to pay attention to what's going on at the exact same time.
Brian, sorry, I just want to ask this because I'm interested in what you were saying about you have to pay attention. But does that interrupt with your listening skill? Like if you try to read someone's face, their body language, and you try to pay attention to what they're saying at the same time. So is there like an interruption there? And if there is, how do you find the bridge to be able to still pay attention to what their body's saying, but also listening to them? Because you don't want to just be like, okay, no, I think she doesn't like what I said, but you don't really know what they're saying, vocally. So how does that work?
I love that you asked this question. What you want to do, active listening, is actually listening for what someone is saying so you can find a key word in their sentence that you can repeat back. So if you were talking to someone and you said, it's just been a horrible week and this has gone wrong, my car's gone down, most people go, oh yeah, I've been there too. That's me trying to jump in and take over the conversation. But if all I said to you was horrible week, then you would expand upon things. And so that's what helps with active listening, is if you're actively listening, you're searching for those key words when the other person is talking. And when you can repeat back the key word, don't repeat things back verbatim, because then you sound like a robot. Right. But if you do that and you say something like, oh, so you, and then you repeat back one or two words, oh, so you've had a horrible week, then people can expand and talk. And you hit a great point. What I was taught is known as physiognomy, which is face reading. Yes, it's face reading. The only reason I call it decoding facial features, as soon as you say face reading, people go, ooh, can you read my palms? And I'm like, this is what that's about. But I like it because it's a proactive skill, meaning I can look every one of you up on social media. I can start on LinkedIn. The reason why I start on LinkedIn, but then I move to social media, is because LinkedIn profile pictures aren't updated very often. There's 43 muscles in the face. The mind creates movement. Movement creates muscle, meaning our faces are constantly changing over time. So if you remember when your parents said, stop making that face or it'll get stuck that way, there's actually some truth to that. And I'll email you guys the picture of me at 18 versus 38, and you'll see significant differences in my face. And so that's why it's important to pay attention while you're there. But the cool thing is, what I teach and was taught is resting facial features. So a little bit about what you were talking about. If you've ever seen the show on Hulu called Lie to Me, those are micro expressions, which is body language for the face. And the reason I purposely don't study that is exactly what you said. And that is, I don't want to be so busy waiting for them to move that I'm like, okay, that I'm not being present in the conversation. So I will, when you're looking at someone, you can make eye contact and still tell it's not about crossing arms or legs. So for example, you have your leg crossed. That's not a bad thing. That can be a comfort thing. But if when we're talking, if you suddenly crossed your arms or you crossed your leg, then I'd be like, oh, something just went wrong. Now, I do teach one micro expression, and that is if you're talking to someone, and let me grab a black card here so you can see it. When their lower lids are rounded, they are open to hearing what you say. So when they're rounded, but if you're talking to someone and you see that thing go straight, like almost like a card came across right here, you just flatline. Something you said or did has them physically trying to close you out. But as adults, we don't tell you we're doing that. Now, what happens with kids when they see something scary or something they don't like? They go, we don't do that as adults, but our lower eyelid straightens out. And when it did, that means you just flatlined. So that's the only one that I look for that's a micro expression. And the reason for that is because I'm wanting to give you eye contact. And if I happen to see that flatten out while I'm giving you eye contact, I know something went south.
It is so interesting.
Man, that is interesting.
I could talk to you forever about this. But I do have a question for you. So people who want to be able to build lasting relationships, to build stronger relationships, but they feel overwhelmed in social settings, what is it that they can do? What kind of advice do you have for them to be able to build those relationships?
Here is the worst case scenario. Let's say that you don't believe a single thing that I say, but I want everyone to just, when they're talking to people, look and say, are there high or low eyebrows? What shape are their eyebrows? And here's the reason why. You get credit for eye contact while you're thinking that. And you're not so focused in your own head that you start overthinking what could go wrong. And this day and age, where this lovely device connects us to the world, but it disconnects us from each other.
Right.
And so when you learn to focus and give people your time and attention, they feel it, and you create that bond. You can feel it when you're there. That's the whole reason why, even though we have FaceTime and other things that are there, nothing will ever replace face-to-face time with someone else. So the best part is when we get a chance to do that, put the devices away and live in the present.
All right. Okay, now they had just showed an image not too long ago, and it said, let me see if they can pull it back up. Yes, people ID call versus email and text. Can you explain that to us?
Absolutely. So if you're not familiar with the show The Voice, all the judges start like this.
Yes.
And if they like what they hear,
they go ahead and turn around.
Then they turn around to see what the person looks like. So if you look at all four of the judges here, what you'll see is they all have large ears and small eyes in proportion to their face. So it's not a direct correlation because everyone's ears are always going to be larger than their eyes. But the key to decoding facial features is for your face and only your face, does your eye look large or small? Does your ear look large or small? So look at all four judges. They all have larger ears and smaller eyes. So they're auditory people. So they're people that I would call or send a voice text versus send them an email or a regular text.
Interesting.
All
Yes.
right. That is interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Let me see if I can call it text.
I know, right? Earlier you mentioned you were talking about eye contact. So
yes,
you give me your opinion on this. A lot of people say that when you're speaking to someone and they go ahead and maybe they look to the left or look to the right, they're most likely telling a lie or probably like omitting something or, just there's something going on there. But what if that's just the way the person is? They don't like to directly stare all the time at that person. Like, what do you say about that?
So that comes from the study of something called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And what it is you're supposed to ask someone a baseline question like, hey, what color was your first car? And then this is what most people get wrong. When somebody's searching for a memory, they may look to their left. So you'll know when they're looking for something to recall, or if they look to the opposite. So once you have a baseline question, so we'll use the left as the example for today, because it's not always the left. But let's say I asked you, hey, what color was your first car? And you looked to your left, that's how you recall things. Now, if I ask you a question later, and for some reason you look to the right, then you're creating something new. That's what it comes down to. But people misunderstand that a lot because it's kind of like in body language. Crossed arms aren't bad. It's the sudden movement to cross arms and the speed at which they cross arms that's the challenge or the warning point. So when they talk about, what they say is, if you look up, then you're supposed to be a visual person. If you look to the left, you're an auditory person. And if you're a kinesthetic person, then you look down. So I kind of pay attention to that, just if I'm asking them to recall questions, do they look a certain way? But that isn't 100%. And so it's pay attention, but don't judge somebody completely by it. And by the way, analyzing faces isn't 100% either, but after 14 years of doing this and being taught this by my mentor, it's in the high 90s. It's crazy. I've talked to thousands and thousands of people, and it's not always right. But the impact that you make and the connections, I'll still have people come up to me 2 years later like, oh my God, I met you and you told me about my eyebrows. Because everyone wants to feel seen, heard, and validated.
Right.
And where we start to feel like a number.
Sorry, I just have a quick question. Because like if you're being able to read and interpret, because you're like talking to the person, right? Even when you're looking at their picture. But like nowadays, social media has really just skyrocketed, and a lot of our communication is done through social media, and a lot of times you don't have that interaction. You can see their picture, but their picture could be old, right? Their facial expressions could be changed.
Yes.
So how do these skills play in when it comes to doing this communication through social media?
So social media is interesting. So if you remember, I talked a little bit earlier about why I start on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn pictures are like realtor pictures. They took it 5 years ago and it's been professionally touched up. Now there are filters on social media, but people don't remember to turn on the filters all the time. And if they're taking a picture of somebody else, it's hard to turn on the filters. So you can see where's their face today versus LinkedIn may have been 5 years ago. The image may have been inverted backwards. But here's the other cool part. Take faces out of it. If you're familiar at all with what's known as statement analysis, that is, people will tell you what they're thinking and feeling. And so by watching them talk on social media, they'll tell you, are they auditory? Are they kinesthetic? Are they visual? So for example, when I make a phone call, I will literally hang up on the phone and say, okay, I'll see you later, because I'm a visual person. So somebody who wants to win me over, and when I say win me over, it can be just create that connection, use visual terms. But if you use a lot of auditory terms like, oh, I hear where you're coming from, or, oh, hey, come listen to this, I don't really think that way. So if you've ever read the book, The 5 Love Languages, it's the goal of communication is, how do I feel and hope for things to be done? How do I give things away? And then how does the other person do it as well? So we all hear the golden rule, which is treat people the way you want to be treated. There's a fallacy to that, because you may not want to be treated the way that I do. So the trick is to try and figure out, how do you want to be treated? How do you want to be talked to? That's the real goal of communication.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so one last question before you give us your information. That way people can be able to follow and look you up and even get in contact with you. I know there are a lot of women out there who find themselves struggling with like getting jobs or maybe starting their businesses and things like that. And I say this because I encountered a young girl. She has a great portfolio. She has great qualities and stuff. But when it came to going for a job interview, like I guess maybe her body language wasn't convincing or didn't give off, and she became frustrated, because she didn't get that job. What are some tips that you have for these women who are watching whenever they go out for an interview or whenever they go, to present something? What are some of the tips that you can give to these ladies? That way, when they do go, everything goes well. Their body language, or maybe the way they speak, how they started off.
I'm going to start with advice from a woman speaker that I very, very much respect, and that is Janine Driver's book, You Say More Than You Think. Janine Driver was she was a former ATF agent who had to go in and talk to people who own guns, but she wasn't allowed to carry a gun. And she credits body language with keeping her alive and safe. That particular book is a 7-day exercise book on what does your body language say about you when you enter a room. And it has you film yourself sitting down. Do you sit with your shoulders slumped? Do you sit with your shoulders wide? Like we all know the superhero pose. Did you know that just by doing the superhero pose for like 5 minutes a day, it raises good chemicals in the body, dopamine, things of that nature. So just by the body language we have, it has that impact. So we all can tell who's an injured animal. Why? Because they try and shrink. If you've got a dog and the dog got into something they're not supposed to, and you come over and you say, did you get into that? What do? They try and shrink down. So when we enter a room, if we're already shrinking down, we're not taking up much space, it says we're not self-confident. So when you have your shoulders back and you have open body posture and open body language, we tell people I'm open for having this conversation. I want to be part of the team. So that is body language. Now, let's talk about facial features. Whatever makes you feel sexy makes you feel confident. So a lot of people, lipstick will do that, or, cheeks looking high and wide, you name it. So it's one of those things of, here's the craziest part. I imagine you all three put on makeup today. You put it on for however long it takes you to tell the rest of the world what to pay attention to the rest of the day. So go and spend time with a makeup artist, somebody who makes you feel radiant when you walk into a room. That has an impact. And the absolute most important thing that I don't even do enough of this on is smile more. Because smiling creates mirror neurons where when you smile, I want to smile. And so if you want to change the environment, have a smile on your face. And people say, well, I don't want to have a fake smile. Well, that's the funny thing. If you smile just to try and make the other person smile, it's a win-win. And so when you smile, I want to smile. When I yawn, you want to yawn because we have mirror neurons.
Don't do that.
Man,
So,
that is amazing.
yeah.
That is amazing. Brian, oh my goodness, we definitely have to have you back on the show.
So
There's so many more
fascinating.
questions that we have, but our time is up. But really quick, just really quick, tell us how the viewers can find you and get in contact with you.
Sure. So since you have my name on the screen, it's Brian Galke. You can look up subtle skills. The reason that I did subtle skills first is because I was scared to put myself out there a year and a half ago. And so I did everything as a company name because then I could hide behind it. And the funny thing is the company name took off. I'm at 100,000 subscribers on Instagram, and now nobody knows who Brian is. But the good news is because of getting verified and everything, if you type in Brian Galke, subtle skills is going to show up as well. And for those who can't spell subtle, because I misspell it all the time, you can just go to getthecheatsheet.com, and that's where you can get a cheat sheet of what are some of the different facial features and what do they mean on people.
Oh man, that is amazing. Thank you so much, Brian, for being here on the show with us, and we will definitely have you back. Viewers, I hope you took notes because everything that Brian said was amazing and great, and you can be sure that we will definitely have him back on the show, but we're gonna cut to a short break and we'll be right back.
Ready to connect, laugh, and learn? Breaking the Silence is your go-to for honest conversations and genuine connections.
Visit a Universal Church near you today. In the state of North Carolina, 413 Eastway Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28205. In the state of Massachusetts, 70 Southampton Street, Boston, Massachusetts, 02118. In the state of Michigan, 4919 Elmhurst Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48204. Call us for more information, 1-888-332-4141. Or text us at 1-888-312-4141. The Universal Church is open every day. Come to your nearest location.
All right, my goodness, this show was crazy.
So much good information.
So many things I soaked in.
We could have talked
from
to
having
him
Brian
forever.
Galke to visiting Cape Verde. OMG. Listen, we're definitely gonna have Brian Galke back. So Brian, get ready because very soon you're going to be back on the show. And I hope you guys took notes because I mean, it was crazy. It was
so good. It was so good.
It was very educational. But let us go to the question of the day and hear what our viewers had to say.
Let's see the question.
So the question was, most disappointing thing you've ever spent money on. And we have our first Mia, she says, probably my ancient ancient car. Every time I drop a bunch of money to fix it, something else goes wrong. Mia, get rid of it.
Ancient, you could probably get some good money for it. Some of those
parts, just the parts. This is from Amore Bailey, getting a degree that I don't use.
Oh my gosh, girl, you spent so many years on a degree that you're not using. I mean,
money
you
and
need to find a
time.
way to put it to use, girl.
Yeah,
because I mean, that was years of your life.
Yes, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yes, and the time too that you
Lainey,
took.
I bought these expensive and beautiful vintage masks for my living room, thinking they were huge. They ended up being the size of a poster. Oh, I did the same thing.
I'm so sorry, Lainey.
Yes,
You know, that's what we get though for buying online.
And it
not
fools you
doing our
because it's
homework
like
on
take a
stuff.
picture to see how it's gonna look in your living room, and then but when you get it, it's like this.
Yeah, that's
Oh
why.
my gosh, I know that's
I feel your pain.
It's
That's
very
a little con
disappointing.
of online.
It's
Yes.
very disappointing. But
Yes.
look, we are coming to the end of the show, but it was a pleasure.
It was.
But this is our time for today. But make sure you stay tuned tomorrow because we will definitely have another great
Yes,
episode.
for sure.
So,
of course.
bye.
Bye.
See y'all.
Bye.